The jungle of Zareth Prime was alive with sound. Strange, sharp cries echoed through the thick trees, and the air was heavy with the smell of damp earth and alien flora. Towering plants with leaves like blades swayed in the wind, hiding predators that moved silently, hunting. It was a dangerous place, and the rule of the jungle was simple. The strong survived, and the weak were eaten. In the heart of this jungle, a family of Krith, massive, armored predators with glowing amber eyes, watched their cubs play near a small river. The cubs were curious, unsteady, and completely unaware of the lurking dangers. The Krith parents, tall and muscular with clawed limbs, stood alert, every sense focused on the surrounding forest. They had survived countless threats, but today something unusual was about to happen. A rustle in the undergrowth caught the attention of the parents. A rival predator, a ferocious Vornak, crept toward the cubs, its jaws snapping and claws extended. The Krith lunged forward to defend their young, but the Vornak was quick, faster than anything they had faced before. Just as the Vornak leapt toward the cubs, a strange figure appeared. The human ranger moved with a speed that seemed impossible. He carried no heavy weapons, only a small device that projected a bright light and loud noise. The Vornak froze, startled by the sudden flash. In that moment, the human grabbed one of the cubs with care and leapt backward, narrowly avoiding the predator's claws. The Vornak hissed and fled, confused and humiliated. The Krith parents stared, unsure what to think. They had seen many creatures in their jungle, some dangerous, some harmless, but never one like this. The human made no move to attack them. He crouched by the riverbank, holding the cub gently, and whispered in a language they could not understand. Then he set the cub down safely and retreated into the shadows. The Krith were suspicious. Predators did not behave like this. A predator that saved another predator's cub? It was impossible. And yet they could not deny what they had seen. Days passed. The Krith watched the human from a distance. He moved carefully through the jungle, marking paths and examining plants, but always staying alert. He carried supplies in small packs, and sometimes he left food near nests. It was strange behavior, yet strangely effective. Then came another incident. A smaller predator, a creature called the Lurn, was trapped under a fallen tree. Its cub cried loudly, the sound echoing through the forest. The human appeared again without hesitation. He lifted the heavy tree using a clever pulley system and rescued the cub. The Lurn parents watched silently, hidden, their instincts torn between fear and curiosity. The Krith began to notice patterns. The human always helped, never hunted. He avoided the adult predators, but he protected their young. He was not like other creatures of the jungle. His intelligence was unusual, his bravery astonishing. One stormy night, lightning cut across the sky and rain fell in heavy sheets. The Krith cubs were shivering near the riverbank, unable to find shelter. The human appeared, holding a makeshift canopy over them. He stayed through the night, shielding the cubs from the rain and comforting them with calm words and gentle movements. The Krith parents observed from above, hidden in the trees. Something inside them shifted. This human, this strange, fragile creature, was willing to risk his own safety for their young. It was not an instinct of survival. It was something else, something remarkable. By now, the jungle was talking in its own silent way. Word spread among the predators through scent markings and territorial calls that humans were not to be ignored. Some still feared them, but curiosity was growing. The next day, the Krith decided to test him. A cub wandered too close to a swamp filled with poisonous plants. Normally, the parents would rush in, claws ready, but this time they waited. The human saw the cub in danger and acted immediately. With quick hands and calm movements, he guided the cub back to safety. The Krith watched every movement, every gesture. Their young were safe, and the human had not harmed them. No threat, only protection. More incidents followed. A cave-in trapped a family of alien cubs, including Krith, Lurn, and smaller creatures that usually feared each other. Humans worked tirelessly to remove debris, coordinate rescue efforts, and calm the frightened young. The predators stayed back, observing, and slowly, warily, they began to understand. Humans were different. They were clever, quick-thinking, and unpredictable in ways that were hard to understand. But above all, they were reliable. When a predator could not save its own cub, the human would. When danger came, humans stood firm. They were not the strongest, not the fastest, but they were brave beyond measure. By the end of the week, a remarkable event took place. Predator cubs, some timid and some bold, began approaching the human voluntarily. The Krith cubs were the first, stepping cautiously from the shadows. The human knelt, holding out a hand, and they touched it gently, testing the warmth and the safety. The adult predators observed, jaws tight but eyes softer. Their instincts told them to attack, to retreat, to survive. But another instinct, one they could not ignore, whispered differently. The humans could be trusted. They could protect, and so a fragile alliance began. It was not spoken in words. It was felt in actions. The human did not demand trust. He earned it. The predators, proud and fierce, began to realize that here was a creature unlike any they had faced. Small, fragile, yet astonishingly brave. Intelligent, adaptable, and, most surprisingly, worthy of their trust. As night fell, the jungle was quiet, but a new understanding had taken root. The human slept among the cubs, a silent guardian. The Krith parents watched from a distance, protective but respectful. Something extraordinary had begun. The predators would never forget this human. They did not yet fully understand him, but one thing was certain. The cubs were safe in his care. The rules of the jungle were changing, and a new chapter in Zareth Prime had begun. Tomorrow they would watch again. They would test him. They would learn more. And slowly, one step at a time, they would realize that humans, so small, so fragile, could be trusted to protect what mattered most, the next generation. The sun rose over Zareth Prime, casting golden light through the towering trees of the jungle. The air was heavy with mist and the scent of wet earth. The jungle was alive, as it always was, but today there was a different energy. Predators moved with caution and curiosity, not only for themselves, but for the humans who had proven so extraordinary. The human ranger, named Ethan, had spent weeks earning the trust of the jungle's apex predators. Krith and other species had observed him carefully, and now some cubs even sought him out when they felt frightened. But trust, as he knew, was fragile. One mistake, one sudden threat, and it could be gone. Today, the jungle faced a new danger. A massive predator, the Xeroch, had appeared near the nesting grounds, a creature even the Krith feared. Its scales were hard as stone. Its jaws could crush bone, and it had no interest in cooperation. It hunted cubs without mercy. The parents of the jungle's young ones panicked. The usual strategy of fleeing or hiding would not work. The Xeroch was too fast, too strong, Ethan observed from a high vantage point. He had studied the Xeroch, its behavior, its patterns. The human did not panic. He was small, yes, but his mind worked differently. He could see solutions that predators could not imagine. He called out softly, using a device that emitted a sound only predators could hear. The Krith parents emerged from the trees, tense but alert. They approached cautiously, eyes on the Xeroch. They did not fully trust him yet, but they had learned that humans could act when instinct alone might fail. Ethan gestured to the parents and whispered commands, guiding them to form a defensive perimeter. Then he ran into the open, luring the Xeroch toward a trap he had prepared. It was a simple device, a pit covered with foliage, but its placement and timing had to be perfect. The Xeroch charged, jaws snapping, claws ready. Just as it leapt for Ethan, the Krith lunged from the sides, clawing and slashing, not to kill but to redirect. The Xeroch stumbled unbalanced and fell into the pit with a surprised roar. The cubs were safe. The parents watched in awe, and Ethan stood panting but unharmed. The jungle had witnessed something extraordinary. Humans did not rely on brute strength alone. They used intelligence, timing, and strategy. They could turn the tide in a fight where instinct might fail. After the Xeroch incident, the predators began to act differently. Krith cubs approached Ethan voluntarily, as did Lern and other species. The adults stayed nearby, watching, but no longer as wary as before. There was a silent agreement. Humans could be trusted. Days turned into weeks. Ethan built small safe zones in the jungle. Natural shelters reinforced with lightweight structures, camouflaged perfectly among the trees. Predator parents began leaving cubs in these zones when hunting or patrolling, observing from a distance. Ethan never touched an adult predator, only the young, ensuring they were fed, safe, and calm. One day, a young Krith cub wandered too far from its nest, approaching a river teeming with dangerous creatures called rivlocks. Ethan was nearby. Without hesitation, he ran toward the cub, carefully using a long stick to scare off the rivlocks without harming them. The cub hesitated, then followed him back to safety. The adult Krith, hidden in the trees, let out a low, approving rumble. It was a small gesture, but it meant everything. The predators were beginning to see humans not just as helpers but as guardians. The humans' courage, intelligence, and compassion had earned their respect. The true test came when a new threat arrived, a rogue predator clan, larger and more aggressive than any seen before. They attacked nests, hunting cubs indiscriminately. The jungle was in chaos. Predator parents tried to defend their young, but the rogue clan was organized, fast, and deadly. Ethan did not hesitate. He called all the safe zone cubs to one central location and organized the predator parents. Using his knowledge of the jungle's terrain, he set up ambush points and escape routes. Then he led a counterattack, not to kill but to drive the rogues away. The predators followed his lead, their natural instincts now guided by human strategy. The battle was intense. The rogue clan was fierce, but they had never faced predators working together with a human mind directing them. Every move Ethan made was precise. He predicted the rogue clan's behavior, diverted them, and protected the cubs. By the end of the day, the rogues retreated, defeated not by raw strength but by intelligence and teamwork. For the first time, the predators understood fully. Humans were not only capable of protecting cubs, they could lead, strategize, and ensure survival even in impossible situations. That night, the jungle was calm. Cub cries were soft, predators were resting, and Ethan sat quietly among the young ones. He did not boast. He did not demand respect. The trust had been earned silently, through actions and courage. Slowly, predator parents began leaving cubs with him even when no immediate threat was near. They watched from a distance, relaxed, knowing the young were safe. Some even approached him cautiously, sniffing and nudging, testing the boundaries of this new alliance. It was a new era in the jungle. Humans, small and fragile by natural standards, had become guardians of life. They were not stronger than predators, not faster, not larger, but their intelligence, courage, and unwavering care made them exceptional. Ethan understood the significance. He looked at the cubs sleeping peacefully around him, some Krith, some Lurn, some of species he had never seen before. Each one represented trust, hope, and the future of the jungle. Humans had earned a place in this wild world, not as conquerors but as protectors. The predators, proud and fierce, had realized something remarkable. Strength alone was not always enough. Intelligence, courage, and compassion could inspire trust that nothing else could. And in the heart of Zareth Prime, the predators had decided that humans were worthy of that trust. From that day on, predator cubs would grow up knowing that humans could protect them, guide them, and even save their lives. Predator parents would watch from afar, not with fear or suspicion, but with respect, and humans, fragile and small, would continue to prove themselves in ways no one could have imagined. The jungle of Zareth Prime had changed forever. Trust had been earned, respect had been given, and a partnership between humans and predators had begun, one that would endure for generations. The stars shone above, and the jungle whispered in its ancient language. Somewhere in the trees, a Krith parent let out a soft growl, not of warning but of approval. Humans had become guardians and the cubs were safe. The world was watching, and for the first time predators understood that humans were extraordinary,